welcome to tonight's show of Matchmaker Secrets, where we talk about love, dating, and relationships. I am Lorii Abela, your soulmate expert and Asian matchmaker. So recently there has been a fad, like the use of pronouns like he, she, or like, I'm trying to remember, catch up with them because there are too many. And then there also came about those LGBTQ or BDSM. And I was like, okay, what are those alphabets that they're talking about? I have to catch up. And there has been also a world that showed up, which is called the open relationship. And I was thinking, okay, what is that about? So we're going to talk about that here. And it's not that, we're promoting it because, obviously, if you're not into that, then you might as well just know because, you'll never know it's going to be presented to you. And then, you don't know what it is. And then, you just say, yeah, I'm going to go with that, but you have no clue what it is. So better be safe, to know rather than, not know. All right. So our guest tonight, she's going to give us some clarity on that, is Miss Savannah Van Biesen, who is an ASEX certified sex therapist, complementary to having her LPCS specializing in marriage, couples, and family therapy. As a published author, seasoned private practice owner, and advocate in gender, sexuality, and relationship diversity community, she hopes to help us embrace sexuality as a lifelong quality, unique to each human's needs and wants. So, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm so good. Thanks for having me here.
Sure. So, let's just start this because, I'm at all okay, I've never had this kind of conversation in my show, open relationship. Before in Facebook, there was a spot over there, what is your relationship status? And they said, single, married, and then, there was even something it's complicated. So I have no idea if it's open relationship is in its complicated portion.
I think it could be sometimes, not gonna lie. I love right now that you threw out the alphabet soup, and you know what? It is confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we clarify a couple of things just to start?
Sure. Yeah.
Kink and BDSM are a type of play that includes pleasure that some people do in their own sexuality and experiences. It's one of my specialties. You're right, we're not promoting it, but by all means, if they have questions, we're gonna answer them. Mm-hmm. LGBTQIA, blah, 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 blah. We're moving towards something that's more simple and inclusive, and it's actually there in my bio. So GSRD, and I put it out there, right? It's gender, sexuality, and relationship diversity, right? And so it's all inclusive of all humans, regardless of race and culture, sexual identity, the sex they were identified with and assigned at birth, the gender that they identify with now, et cetera, and so on, right? So open relationships. This is fun. It's real fun. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, it's actually not as marginal in the population as some may think. So when I think about open relationships, just to kind of clarify, ideally, an open relationship is going to be consensual and well negotiated. So you'll hear terms like C&M, which is consensual non-monogamy, or E&M, ethical non-monogamy. Terms such as polyamory, which is a type of open relationship, meaning I have multiple partners or more than one. Again, it can look like many things. And so, yeah, it's good. When you're dating and matching up with someone, and at the first date, they're like, hey, what do you think about non-monogamy? Might be good that you know a couple of ideas or terms about it. But realistically, you always need to ask. Even me, who, I talk about this every day, right? Every session I have with every patient and every talk I provide at any conference, I make sure that I understand what their letters and their frame of work and words mean to them, because it's not good to define things for others. So I'll offer clarity, but it's a good practice to always kind of ask what that means to somebody when you start speaking to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't even know that, the BDSM is a certain classification because, I remember one time I went to the Philippines. I used to live in New York, and then I told one of our tenants, I said, I used to live in New York. And then he said, oh, I used to live in New York. And do you remember, like, that meat packing district? And I said, yeah. And so, like, yeah, I used to go over there and wearing this leather jacket. I saw some people wearing leather jacket over there, but I didn't know, like, exactly what they're talking about over there. But, it's interesting, like, even, somebody who's from far away, they have experienced what it is like.
Well, it is quite universal, to be honest. And it's not just BDSM, but I feel like all of the sexual communities that might come away from being the more traditional sexual community, yeah, they're everywhere. Everybody wants it in their own way, but yeah, it's global and it's universal.
Yeah. In one of my books, I have actually somebody who's also a sex therapist, and then, like, that was the first time I have actually realized, oh, okay, there's more into it, because, like, she was able to create, some 10 pages, I believe, over there about it. So, what are the guidelines to be safe in such a relationship, open relationship?
So when we talk about safety, I do want to kind of point out that although I'm going to kind of reflect more on negotiation and consent, physical safety is a real thing too, right? And so that might be part of it, but oftentimes people say, well, how is it safe to be a part of an open relationship or engage in polyamory? And so it's important to note, I'm going to talk about the mental and emotional spaces, but this oftentimes includes what does it look like to use boundaries and barriers to prevent against, STIs, and how can we look at physical health, right? So I think more of this question is about what does it look like to be a part of an open relationship, consensual, and feel okay about it? It all starts with consent. So when I think about consent, I keep it really simple. I think you have to first objectively state your needs and wants. When I say objective, subjective is I can become defensive and we're going to get into an argument and be heated. Objective is, in a calm manner, I'm going to start with, is now a good time to talk to you? I would like to talk about our relationship and what this is going to look like today or moving forward. And these are the wants I have. These are the needs I have. The next step would then be figure out where your partner and you align. So aligning looks like a lot of things. First, the needs and wants, obviously. Okay, so you want to be dominated. Okay, I will just tell you straight up, Lorii. I am the oldest of 4 children. I have 4 children, and I'm in private practice. I don't want to dominate anybody. If anything, please take care of me. Nurture me. Nourish me. And so, a really simple conversation would be, that's great that you want to be dominated. I encourage you to go find a partner who can do that for you. So that would be where, a good example of us not aligning. There doesn't have to be a fight. It's acknowledgement, though, that we just have different things right now that we both want or need. Once you've aligned, it's all about consent. Consent is so fun. In the world of BDSM and kink, typically, and although they're different, sometimes they can overlap. But typically, you have an actual contract that you write out and sign.
Oh, really?
Really. It can be incredibly formal to, I would say, the more typical relationships of play and pleasure. Like, hey, I met you out for drinks right now because we connected and it feels like this is a good fit. What are your thoughts about not being exclusive, open? And what are your thoughts about what I could provide to you and you could provide to me? And let's go from there. And then you consent, and it sounds great, and you have some fun. And then last but not least, aftercare. Aftercare is so important. We always leave it out. And it's very simple, but after we play or have pleasure or watch Netflix together and watch horror movies and eat a bunch of junk food and snuggle, what does it look like for us moving forward? Because what if I'm connecting to you and you did not connect with me? What does that look like? So aftercare is important because it kind of solidifies everything that we've consented to moving forward. Last but not least, it's always important to remember, no matter what, whether this relationship is brand new or it needs to be renewed, renegotiation is key. Weekly, daily, by the hour, whatever that might look like for you. You have to remember that it is okay to change your mind, alter your needs and wants, and come back to the drawing room and say, I'm not really happy with how this is going down, or this is going really great. I would like more of this from you.
Yeah, like now I'm thinking about that movie, like 50 Shades of Grey. So, because like, in that movie, like he introduced the concept to her, and so like she doesn't know anything about it before, and so like, I guess like a lot of people also have no clue about it, except when that time that the movie came about. So, if you're saying that you have to actually get consent, so yeah, that's correct. You have to make sure, because you're gonna be getting the pain because like you're gonna be hit.
I love that you brought that example up, because I would say for many people, they're just curious.
That's true.
That's their education, and I'm like, okay, Hollywood is fun, but it's entertainment. It's not education. And so there are some aspects like in that film, and it is very sexy, don't get me wrong, but I think they failed to mention things like within that whole giant contract, and she has to go through it, and she's like, I'm not gonna sign this, you're just gonna want me for me, right? There's a nourishing piece to it. So typically when you agree and consent to, even just consenting to, I'm gonna fall in love with you, we are gonna be primary partners, we might even be married, and then we might have other play partners or other people that we travel with or have sex with or simply have as really great companions romantically, but no sex, whatever that might look like. Even then, it's important to keep in mind that this is all meant to nurture you and nourish you. So the moment that it starts feeling like it is no longer nourishing you as an individual, or it is no longer nourishing and contributing to your primary commitment or relationship, that's a sign. That's a sign that you need to look at renegotiating. So I love that 50 Shades of Grey says, hey, this is hot, this is sexy, this is fun. They have great music in the background. But I think they also kind of leave out the reality of it. And it's, if you are taking on the pain of somebody, it's probably not a good idea to take on pain because your partner is sexy AF. You're doing it because it's something that nourishes you. And so it's important to kind of keep in mind when you talk about open relationships and the reasons and needs and purposes of them.
Yeah. So, because like you have told me that there's also consent, but the thing though is that how about like, polyamory for people who have children? How does it look like for them?
It could look like a lot of things. I would say first and foremost, again, it's all negotiation. And it's also okay to have different styles. An easy example. So if I am married to my husband, Chris, and we have children together, and if we have decided to negotiate an open relationship or polyamory, for me, polyamory, a common term is kitchen table. I mean, if I'm gonna have another partner come in, I want them to know my kids, I want them to get along with my husband, I want them to barbecue with us. It's kitchen table, we can eat together, we can break bread together. Whereas if my partner is Christopher and he's traveling, for example, a less polyamorous kitchen table, but more of an open look is don't ask, don't tell. So obviously, as a married couple, we're gonna know some things, but I'm never gonna know who he's dating in another state or another city. I might know of their name, but I may never meet them. I might talk to them on the phone once or twice, but she or they will never be part of our family. So it's okay to even look at different styles of what we both want and what we both need. And again, it's absolutely okay to figure out in what ways are these other humans nourishing our relationship? And if happening, in what ways are they taking away from it? It's really important to always check in and always figure out what style works for us and what's not working for us.
Okay, so when you're trying to explain that to me, it seems like, I guess it's been happening for many, many times. I mean, many, many years already. It's just that they didn't use the terminology like open relationship, because like some people have like two wives, or you said that you have had like Muslim clients, so like they're okay to have like some additional wives, right?
Well, it really depends. So that would be like a division of here's culture and here's different religions. And every culture has a respect for gender roles and assignments, et cetera. And then every religion has its own respect for identities and sexuality. So that would be kind of separate from an open relationship, because that's more tradition inclusive rather than cultural and sexual inclusive. And so it's important, right, to bring that up when you're first dating someone and getting to know them. It's important, even if they're not your primary. Let's say I'm married to Chris, and we've agreed on our rules. And now somebody has set me up. They're like, Savannah, I think you would be a really good fit for this very handsome person. And so I meet them, and oh my gosh, it's very exciting. They have the best eyes and the best smile and the best smell. And I want to do things that they're doing. And so compatibility is there. It would be a lot more about, well, what does your life look like? What is your culture? What does your home life look like? Because I don't want to be a side woman based on lies and mistrust. So if you have a partner who lives at home with you, they need to know about us. I'm not going to tell you to what extent, but I'm not going to be a secret, because for me that doesn't work. So it's separate from what religion are you and what country are you from. It's more to do with who are you and how can I be included in that, but also honest and respectful and full of trust.
Okay, all right. So more or less there's that more elevation over there when you think about it.
Yes.
Okay. So how do people handle jealousy in such a relationship?
Oh my gosh, Lorii. We are human. I can tell you all night long, this is how we negotiate, and this is consent, and this is how we play by the rules, and this is what it's going to look like. And then it's going to be perfect. And I would lie to you, because it's not perfect. And it is complicated, because we're human and we have insecurities and we have faults and we have bad days and we have great days. And, with dating and then dating multiple partners, I want to know that I'm enough. And it might not be a conflict because my partner is dating another woman who is great for him, who is not really taking away from me. But what if I have my own life experiences and now I'm feeling very triggered? Why does this person have more love from you? Or why do you protect that woman and love her openly, but with me, I feel like I am the one that protects you? There's a lot of really deep embedded feelings that come into this. But overall, if you can feel safe and honest, sometimes it might mean taking a step back from being open. And it might mean letting other partners know, this is the direction that I need to go in, this is my priority. It might let me know, for example, Savannah, I really need this person in my life, and we have to find a balance. And you're going to have to work through your own insecurities on your own. So there's no perfect answer, but to say that jealousy doesn't exist is a lie. It's going to be a part of it at one point or another. And it's not a conflict to having open relationships. I think it's an opportunity to make them even healthier, because then you can work through it together.
Okay. And so I was just wondering, how many people are involved? The maximum that you have seen.
You mean, is this a marginal part of the community as adult, or is there
they're one big whole family, you can say that.
Like polyamory or open relationships, as a whole within a country, or do you mean within one client I see?
One group of one family. It's not
I gotcha. It's so fun. So I recently did this really cool organic talk. Like we sat on yoga mats and it was beautiful. And so everybody's got their own polyamorous style. And so oftentimes you can call this a polycule, right? This term represents the idea that you have many people and partners whom you live with.
Yeah.
Some have a sexual relationship with you, some romantic, some you're raising children with, some don't live with you and they live in other states and cities. And so it's important overall that it's not about the number, it's more about the purpose of the relationships in your life. I'm going to simplify this for you because it would make more sense. For most people, it does. Let's say I've got 5 good friends, and 2 are male and 3 are female. All of them are different, and they all are going to have a different purpose that nourishes me and I to them. So one girlfriend, she's going to be so fun. She loves to gossip and she loves to go dancing. She is never going to wake up early in the morning to help you move or walk your dog if you will go out of town. One friend is going to serve you, and like they're so fun to go out to eat with, and they're educated and they want to talk about books. They are not going to go dancing with you. They are not going to be that person.
Okay.
And so on and so on, right? Every friend in this group of 5 will have a different purpose and a different connection and a different match with you as a good fit. And so that's why we have healthy social support systems, right? Within our lives, we have partners and friends and family. So really what polyamory looks like is very similar to a support system. The only difference is that level of commitment and perhaps what the play and pleasure look like among the different dynamics.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I'm being reminded of that message that I've heard before, which says like, you cannot have everything that you need in one person. So I think like, with this kind of situation, you can have everything, but in multiple people.
I say it probably multiple times every day. Nobody can be anybody's everybody. It's too much work.
Yeah. All right. So what are the warning signs that you need to leave this polyamorous relationship?
Warning signs are pretty clear. If you are feeling negative, pain and betrayal and hurt, insecurities, anything that makes you just really low in your energy, depression, that's a big sign. We are lacking in communication. If you're feeling very bullied into something, sometimes what I see is that polyamory is not a lifestyle nor way that they were born or the way they choose to be or live, right? Sometimes they're doing it because they don't want their partner to leave them. And that's pretty common. My partner wants to be polyamorous. I'm just trying to keep up so they don't leave me or divorce me. That's a sign that it's probably not a healthy choice for you or the dynamic. I think a third sign to really be aware of is that of just manipulation. And I hate to say the word lying, but I'm just going to be blunt. If your partner is not forthcoming and they're sneaking around and lying, that is not consensual. And I hate it when people are like, oh, affairs and cheating, but that is a language people use. I try to correct it in my practice to be more sex positive, but bluntly speaking, if your partner's cheating on you, that means they are not gaining consent and they're keeping a secret to themselves. And if you're not comfortable and you're not negotiating and you didn't consent to that, that's not polyamory.
Okay. So you are a mother yourself, and I was just wondering, how is it like, just in case, like, for those people who have children, and then their child said like, Mommy, I want to have a sex change. What are your suggestions for the parents?
So going through sex change and the whole just process of becoming a transgendered human is pretty separate from like open relationships and polyamory, although the entire umbrella is about sex positivity as a family, right? So I would say, let's say I've got a daughter, so female assigned at birth, right? Or assigned female at birth, AFAB, letters again, right? And so let's say they want to be they, them, or he, him, rather than she, her, changing up the pronouns. And in my household, we promote open-minded sexuality. And that's anything from if you feel like you're transgendered and you were given the wrong pelvic floor area or body at birth, talk to me about that. Let me help you work through the idea of, is this that awkward, horrible phase of puberty? Or is there something within you that has always been there and only now do you have the words to talk about it? So it's less about being polyamorous or open and influencing your children to change who they are. It's more about recognizing what you do to make yourself, your partner, your children feel safe in the home, to be able to come to you and talk to you about all the elements of sexuality that are happening.
Okay. All right, I just have to bring it up because seldom do I come across somebody like you. So and then you're the perfect person to ask about it because I'm sure there are parents who are wondering about that. They can be dating, but they also have this situation that's happening with their child, and they are also concerned. And so obviously if you're dating and then the person that you are looking to have a relationship with has this kind of situation with their child, and then you're going to be bringing that situation to this new partner.
I love that you actually brought that up. It's important to think about. I've totally been there. I was a mother young, and then I was single a long time raising 2 young girls. I am their role model and their caretaker, but I'm also a woman and a professional. And so finding that balance, and I was in my 20s, so I would hardly say at the age of 26 or 27, I should be taking off the market for dating and being matched up with somebody because I've got a child at home. And so I think it's kind of looking at, what does normal look like now? How do we blend that family? How do we open up honesty? How do we talk about what we want to do to respect, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's about, I don't want to bring you home and have some fun sex with you because I've got 2 kids sleeping in the room next door, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's about time. I have time for you, but I don't have 24/7 time for you because I'm raising 2 young children. So again, I think it all comes back to open, honest communication, negotiating, consenting, aligning, right? And then doing it all over again when you need to renegotiate the situation.
Yeah. Well, I wish that we have more time, but anyway, we can probably invite you again sometime.
I'm always ready to have fun.
And fly over here. But thank you so much again. And so, for those people who are watching, if you're single and navigating love, we would like to invite you over here because we want to find out, how are you doing, and maybe we can help you with whatever your situation as far as your dating is concerned. And if you're an expert in love, dating, and relationships, we would like to have you over here as well so you can, shed some light with whatever expertise you have. All right, so we'll see you again. Take care. Bye-bye again.
Thank you so much.